On the third day, God said, "Let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants, and trees that bear fruit, according to their various kinds." And it was so. And God saw that it was good.
To all our CCR TV viewers, a warm welcome. सगळे आमचे CCR TV पळयणाऱ्यांक माय मोगाचो येवकार. आयचो कार्य पडे तुम्ही पळयतले तो जावन आसा ऑन द थर्ड डे. तिसऱ्या दिसा देवान कितें रोसलें, कितें केलें आनी कित्याक लागून केलें आनी कसलो फायदो आमकां ताजेवन मेवता. झाडां ट्रीज प्लांट्स जे पळय आमी म्हणटा ती जावन आसा एक देवाचें बेसांव आनी हे बेसांवाक लागून आमचें लायफ ताजेरूच आसा म्हणल्यार जाता. झाडां नासतना देर कॅनॉट बी लायफ, माय डियर फ्रेंड्स. Without plants, without the trees, call them whatever you want, ornamental trees or fruit-bearing trees or trees giving us shade, life on earth would cease to exist. Often now we find that trees are being cut, not only in our cities like in Panjim, but also in places like villages like Seolim and the other places. झाडां नासतना आमचें लायफ केन्नाच फुडें वचोंकूच जायना. पयले सुवातेर झाडां जाय कित्याक आमकां ऑक्सिजनाची साप गरज आहा. तशेंच आमकां जेवण, क्लोथिंग, मेडिसीन, शेल्टर आनी जायते जायते वस्तू झाडांकूच लागून आमकां फायदो आनी व्हडलो फायदो मेवता. आमी पळयलां बेंगलोर जी एक टायमार आमी म्हणटाले एअर कंडिशन सिटी. ही एअर कंडिशन कित्याक आशिल्ली, हो क्लायमेट इतलो बरो कित्याक आशिल्लो, इतलीं झाडां आशिल्लीं, इतली ट्रीज आशिल्लीं. पूण आतांच्या कारणाक लागून सगळे आतां न्यू बिल्डिंग्यो येवपाक लागल्यो आनी आतां बिल्डिंग्यो येता त्यो हॉरिझॉन्टल, वर्टिकल. तशेंच आमकां दिसून आयलां की गोंयांतूच असलीच खबर जाता म्हूण. जायते फावटी आमी म्हणटा आमचे लागीं व्हडली सुवात आहा पूण कोण ना सुवातेर पळयतलो कितें करतलो म्हूण. आनी हाकाच लागून इबाळडोली आहा जायते आमचे सुवातेर. हांव जेन्ना कोलवा भुरगेपणांत रावतालो आमच्या घरा सोब्यान आमी टोमाटां रोयतालीं, भेंडे रोयताले, कसलीं कसलीं झाडां रोयतालीं आनी झाडां आशिल्लीं फ्रूट बेरिंग ट्रीज, गुआवा. आनी आयज म्हणटा आमी गुआवा इज व्हेरी व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट बिकॉज ऑफ द फायबर. तशेंच आमी तोरांजां रोयतालीं. आतां तोरांजां भोव कमी मेवता गोंयांत. ग्रीन चिलीज कांय उपाय घेवपाची गरज ना पूण इजिली ती रोवपाक जाता. तर जेन्ना आमकां एक वातावरण अशें मेवता की इज डिफिकल्ट टू ग्रो, टू कल्टिवेट, आमी दवंडे पावले साल्वादोर धुमून जे जाग्यार एक कांयच नाशिल्लें रान कशें आशिल्लें थंय तुमी पळयतले तुमच्या दोळ्यांचे मुखार CCR TV हाडटा कसलीं कसलीं झाडां आहा, जावं ती ऑर्नमेंटल, जावं ती फ्रूट बेरिंग ट्रीज. आनी फ्रूट बेरिंग ट्रीज हे धाकटे मातशे व्हडले प्लांटर्स रोयलेले आहा. तुमी व्हडलो वावर करपाची गरज ना, मातशें तरी लक्ष घातलीत हें सगळें करूंक जाता. तुम्ही म्हणटले हांव सांगता म्हूण. आयज तुमकां आमी दाखयता प्रॅक्टिकली हें कशें केल्लें आहा आनी आमचे बरोबर आयज आहा बाब ऑलविन सिक्वेरा, जो जावन आसा साल्वादोर दुमुंदाचो. कुवेट जाल्लो तो, जे कुवेटाक जाग्यार झाडां ना, सगळें प्लास्टीक आनी बिल्डिंगां, पूण गोंयांत आयिल्लो आनी ताणें दाखयलें आनी आमी आयज साल्वादोर दुमुंद ताच्या घरांत आहा कशीं तीं ताणें झाडां रोयिल्लीं आहा आनी तो कसो कॅर तांची घेता म्हणून. बाब ऑलविन, माय मोगाचो येवकार.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me.
Allwyn, it's impossible to live without plants. But Goans of late are not even bothered about it. What do you have to say?
Many people today, as you said, don't care about plants. We don't even realize the value of plants. People don't think that plants are important to their lives. I feel, after what I have done, without plants, mankind cannot survive. You spoke about air conditioners in Bangalore. To me, plants are my air conditioners. They purify my air. They give me such a soothing feeling. And my entire atmosphere over here is much more cooler having plants around. I don't need electricity to run an air conditioner. I just need to grow a plant. However, people will give all kinds of excuses, saying that they cannot grow plants. But if you look around, there are many, many options. There are many, many ways. There are many, many areas where plants can be grown. But people just don't want to grow them because there's a lot of effort. It's not easy. There's care. If you grow a plant, it's like you're looking after a baby.
Yeah, nothing comes the easy way.
Correct.
You need to take some care, and that's all. And the plants then, they take it on their own.
Correct, correct. So as long as you have an interest, as long as there is some kind of interest that is there within you, saying that I will grow plants for the goodness of the environment, for the goodness of the place, because you realize that plants on their own do a lot for the environment, for the people, you can then say to yourself that you have done something to save the planet.
Today, the food comes from plants.
Correct.
Your medicinal value of the plants is enormous. We talk about all the new systems that the government has introduced. If you go to the naturopathy today, they talk about plants.
Everywhere, in just about every field, plants are there. If you go into a very modern office as well, you will find a plant indoors. So, which means people do know about plants. But the problem is that none of them want to care for those plants on their own. What I have done over here in my garden is I have started growing the plants. Initially, 7 years back, when I planted my first set of plants, they all died. They died within a span of 3 months, maybe less. It's very discouraging. Now, I didn't know why they died. I have planted. It's not just planting a plant. We show many things around. We go and we make a huge affair about planting a tree. That's taken 5 minutes for you to do that particular job. But that tree needs another 5 years of care. Can a person look after that tree for 5 years? It's not easy because now there is 5 years of commitment. It's like a marriage.
It is. It's a lifelong commitment.
Correct. It's a commitment towards you looking after those trees. So what I did was I decided to myself, if I am going to be committed to the environment, I'm going to start and I will lead by example. I will show others that it is possible to do it yourself. You don't need a huge investment and you can do it with a minimal amount of knowledge. But eventually, to maintain that work that you're doing, you're going to have to acquire the knowledge, the tools, the resources to look after those plants, to look after those trees till they reach maturity or till they reach a stage where you will be satisfied with what they give you. Now, what is it that they might give you? They could give you fruits. They could give you flowers. And most important of all, as the tree matures, it gives you shade.
Yes. So the yields are always there.
Yes.
You need to take a little care, I would say. Of course, it depends on the size, but eventually people say, we do not have time, we do not have the manpower. You don't need 10 or 12 people to look into your own small garden around your home.
Correct.
Even one person, if you devote your time, you do a proper time management, and if you are sincere in your efforts and your objective, I think it can be done by every one of us, especially in the villages.
आता आम्ही गारा आसोत जाल्यार when we say gara, it could be either in an apartment or it could be in an outdoor garden. We need to give a little bit of time. मातसो थोडे time दिवंक जाय to look after the plants. What kind of care do you need to do initially? Just watering. It's a very simple task. And the reason I like to show people the garden that I've created is because they can see the kind of greenery, the kind of love that has gone into creating this place. And the best part is they have a visual treat for their eyes. Now they can see the fruits. As they walk around, they can feel even a slight temperature change. It's not as hot over here.
It's not. It's not.
It's much cooler. And it is only because of the trees. I have minimized the use of any industrial elements like concrete and what have you. And as far as possible, even the walls for separating different areas, I've used plants. So I've grown plants in a line to separate one area from another. And it's not difficult at all to plan something like this. The internet gives us so many things that we can learn from, and it depends on us what we would like to absorb, what we would like to take in, and what we would like to do with the information that we have now acquired. So this is what I have done over here, is by tapping resources, not just of the internet. I have gone to meet farmers. I have gone to meet people who are doing landscaping. So having a conversation, having seen what they are doing, I have then got an idea and I've implemented that over here.
झाडांक चडशें गरज आहा तें उदकाची.
उदकाची.
उदक कशे भाशेन मेवता आयज. थोडें जावं जायतें उदक, पूण उदक मेवता.
मेवता.
आनी विलेजींनी उदक जायतें आहा.
Correct.
सद्याक तरी फाल्यां सांगूंक जायना कितें जावंक शकता तें. इम्पॉर्टंट म्हळ्यार साऱ्याचें. झाडां बरीं तरी उंच उरतलीं आनी फ्रूट जातले जाल्यार सारें एकदमूच गरजेचें. सारें तूं आतां हांगा तुज्या ह्या फार्मान पळय आहा, सारें तूं कशें घालता आनी खंयसून हाडटा तूं?
It's a very, very good question that you asked. Now, to grow plants, there are some essential elements. Essential. Number one, the most important thing is the soil. So now we have soil to grow the plants. Second, in order for that plant to grow, it requires sunlight, photosynthesis. So sunlight is another essential piece. The third piece is water. Water is required for sustenance of any form of life. Now, as the plants grow, as even for us as people, we require water. But as things start growing, as plants start growing, they are in the soil. They are taking the nutrients from the soil, and the soil is being depleted of that nutrients. I started asking around about fertilizer, about manure, sarin, compost, and what have you, and then I found out that it's an expensive business.
It is.
It is an art by itself, and everyone who is into agriculture gave me various sources of plant fertilizer. Plant fertilizer is composed of 3 elements, NPK. And then I realized that there's a very easy way of doing it. And it is something that we humans are doing almost every day. We are wasting food. So what I decided to do, our kitchen waste, when I say kitchen waste, I mean absolutely everything from the kitchen is collected on a daily basis, and I even extended it further to collect waste even from my mother's place as well as two of my neighbors. So I collect this kitchen waste on a daily basis. I shred it.
You need to shred it.
You don't have to. I shred it.
Okay.
And the reason that I shred it is because I live in an apartment and I don't have the luxury of space. So I need to compact it. So in order to compact it, I devised a way of shredding my kitchen waste. So I now have reduced my kitchen waste from about this much to less than half, which means I can collect more kitchen waste without running out of my composting bins. So I learned how to do composting 7 years ago. Now the composting helped me to nourish the soil that is over here. Even when people around this area came and told me that nothing would grow on my property.
So composting is a must.
It is a vital requirement for nourishing the soil.
Because ultimately the plants make their own food.
Plants create food and they give out oxygen for us. But what they require in order to make that food is nutrients from the soil.
From the soil.
Yes.
Yes. So now you have so many plants here. You have both ornamental. You have also fruit-bearing trees.
Correct.
Now I'm sure you give them the necessary fertilizer, and now people have been talking about organic fertilizer and so on. Nobody knows about it, but yours is a very practical element that you are talking, because every home, every house generates its own kitchen waste. That kitchen waste, instead of giving it to the municipality or the panchayat, it will be much profitable to use it to grow, to see that your plants get the proper nourishment.
You see, this is a very, very important part of developing this property.
Can we have a look, because people will say you all talk, and mostly people say, tumi uloita, tumi sangta, amka dakopak jata baba Allwyn.
Yes, we'll do that.
या तुझ्या गार्डनात भितर या आमी आनी पळोवया कशें तूं हें कोत्ता आनी कसलो फायदो आनी कशीं तुजीं झाडां इतलीं उंच पावल्या आनी बरीं पावल्या ती आमी भायर.
Correct.
आमी आतां बाब ऑल्विनाचे गार्डनांत आहा. ही एक मिरेकल कशें ताणें केल्लें आसा. शाबासकी तुका बाब ऑल्विन.
You see, I feel nice even just sometimes walking here because it is now midday.
You don't feel warm at all. I don't feel warm at all.
It feels nice and cool.
Yes, very much cool.
What we'll do is let us go and see the composting unit.
Yes, because that is one of the most important facets of growing this garden trees, plants.
So atapo yami, how this composting takes place.
आता ही पळय तुवें लायट आतां घातल्या. म्हाका दिसना तुका इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कनेक्शन आहा म्हूण.
ना हांगासर yes.
हांगासर ही लायट बाट सगळें पळय तुका आतां उदक बी सगळें पंप बी सगळें थोडे चलता पळय. इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नासतना ही कशी?
आता हांगासर ह्या प्रॉपर्टीन लायटीचें कनेक्शन ना. So what I did 7 years ago, हांवें solar panel घातले.
सोलर पॅनल कितली घातली?
दोनूच हात.
दोन दोन पुरो तुका हें चलोवपाक सगळें.
For the last 7 years, they are working beautifully. Munche, I don't need anything more than that. Ata log they put a lot of panels. They put many panels, and it's a big investment. I did not do too much, so I put the very basic, just enough to run my pump, my essential.
धाकटी पण घरां आहा आमचे खेडे गांवांनी. एक सोलर पॅनल देखून घातल्यार म्हाका दिसता धाकटुलो गार्डन फुडें व्हरपाक करपाक जाता.
It is possible.
जाता.
It is possible.
तुवें करून दाखयलां.
Yes, I mean even the panels that I've got over here, they are so small. Nobody would believe that they are just 0.25 kilowatt.
इतली
Very small. So
करूंक जाता.
it is possible.
आनी ही न्यू पॉलिसी पळय आयल्या गव्हर्मेंटाची ऑल ओव्हर इंडिया ते म्हणटा सोलार एनर्जी. म्हाका दिसता आमी ल्हान पावल तरी तुज्या आदारान आमी खेडे गांवान आमी गेले आनी मॅन पॉवर चड नाका 1-2 मनीस तरी डेडिकेटेड मातशें आसपाक जाय तुजे भाशेन तरी आमकां मेवले इवन 50% तो तूं पळय आहा 50% म्हाका दिसता घरांचें गार्डन इजिली आमी करूंक जाता
Very easily.
तर आमकां दाखोवंक शकता तूं तुजी
Ata, yes. So what?
फर्टिलायझर
Ata आमी कितें पळोवया हांगासर न्हू. This is the start of creating something that will help my garden. What I have used is nothing fancy, but only kitchen waste.
किचन
Kitchen
तुजोच किचन वेस्ट
And not of the entire community, only mine, my family's.
ओके
केन्नाय कितें जाता, I don't have certain kinds of foods. म्हणजे केन्नाय नुस्तें ना, or there is no chicken. So what I do is I request my neighbors to give me their waste. So together I know that from my vegetable waste, my veg waste, my non-veg waste, sogle मेवता म्हाका. All those nutrients are there in that waste.
सो म्हणटकूच हे असो एक कम्युनिटी बेस्ड प्रोजेक्टूय करूंक जाता
करूंक शकता. Correct.
हय
Yes.
इट्स अ व्हेरी बिग आयडिया
See, people don't realize that you can all get together
Yes.
to do something like this to even solve a problem of kitchen waste. So it no longer needs to go outside. आमकांच पळोवंक जाता our problem. So
हांव हें कित्याक म्हणटा तुका नाव आय लिव्ह इन अ सिटी इन पेंजीम
yes.
आमकां जागो व्हडलो ना आनी चडशे म्हणटा अरे तुमी झाडां माडां रोयतले रातचे येता चोत्ता कोणागेर जागो आसता सुबेज म्हणून आमी म्हणटा बाबा आमी कित्याक कॉन्ट्रिब्यूट करता आमी हातबोट घाल्या सगळे आनी एके कडेन पळय जागो आहा मेवता तितून आमी दाखोवया कितें करूंक जाता तें करूंक जाता वो ना
Of course.
हें तरी आमकां करूंक जाय तुजो आमकां आदार आसतलो
Without hesitation. And I love this. I love championing the cause of composting, of gardens, of the environment.
कित्याक आयज आमी उलयता लोक पळयतलो आतां म्हत्वाचें म्हाका जाल्यार प्रॅक्टिकल
Yes.
आनी व्हडलें पावल मारपाक नाका एक धाकटुलें
baby steps.
बेबी स्टेप्स तर आमी दाखयले पूण बाब ऑल्विनाचो आदार जाय पडटलो
Of course.
तो आमकां दितलो की ना
Without hesitation, without fail, I will do it with love. सारको मोगान दिता हांव तुका
पुरो
all my
पावलें म्हजें पोट भरलें तर आमी
आतां
फर्टिलायझराचेर
आमचें
उलयताले
fertilizer पळोवया आमी see the most important thing is that we need to collect waste. So ती waste आमी एकठांय केली. This waste in these barrels comes from my home in Miramar. I don't bring the entire barrel. I collect the waste in small containers like this. So this is all kitchen waste which is collected in Miramar. It takes me around 3 weeks. 3 सुमान लागता म्हाका एकठांय करपाक ही waste. So 3 सुमानान मागीर हें barrel हांव हांगासर हाडटा. Okay.
सो मिरामार टू साल्वादोर दो मुंद
Miramar to Salvador do Mundo. The waste मागीर हांगासर हाडटा हांव ही. So this is now full of kitchen waste which has been collecting for 3 weeks. मागीर ती waste काडटा हांव and I put it in these barrels. Now there are 3 barrels. The most recent barrel is this one. This barrel is around almost 7 or 8 months. So because it is 8 months old, तितून आमकां मेवता ready compost. This is ready compost. So this is what can be put for the plants.
बाबा ऑल्विन जेन्ना म्हाजी माय आसताली पणजे नुस्तें ओ कितें चिकन बीफ ऑर कितें मांस खातले म्हणून तें उदक तें झाडांक घालताली आनी आमकां सांगताली ना 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 हें घातल्यार हें झाड आनी आमचे कडेन आवची वेलची आशिल्ली
होय.
चडशे पणजे लोकां कडेन व्हडले हें ना आवची वेलची आनी सोपांत आमकां आयची वेलची घातल्यार सारकी बेस्ट लागताली पूण याद आहा म्हाका म्हाजी माय सांगताली हो किचन वेस्ट नुस्त्याचो पडे आहा भायर उडोय नाका आनी हांव कांयच म्हाका सोबना कित्याक ती इतली शिकलेली नासलेली पूण ती म्हणटाली झाडां बरीं जाता म्हूण हेंच तें आमी उलयता तें
So the fish waste also goes into here. आतां पळय. The material that I have is not entirely dry. तो to maso moist ha. I like to keep it moist. I don't want it to be dry because when it goes in the ground, it has to release its nutrients. And if it dry asad zalya, it's not going to help much. It has to have some water content inside. So teka lagon, I leave it like this, slightly moist. So this is ready. But in here, nushte astele.
Well,
Mass, vegetable, processed food, everything from the kitchen, bones, ada, eggshells, whatever you can think of from the kitchen has gone into this. So this is a complete,
so you can't call this waste material.
this is no longer waste. Now, for me, this is called black gold.
Yeah, it is. It is. it
Black
is.
gold in the Middle East may be oil,
Yes.
but this is also for me. Now these are 3 barrels. Once they get full, this is the latest one. If I open it, you will be able to see the latest matter that has gone into there. It is quite rich, but you will notice one thing. Ata tumiha nangasor vasna.
Vasna. Kinds na.
Vas nigutna. Otherwise, every composting station smells.
Yes.
Hinsorui what's to? And this is a very complex setup because in this setup, there are pipes connected over here, which is then connected to my irrigation system. So the fertilizer gets pumped into the water line to irrigate and fertilize the plants.
So there are 2 things happening at the same time.
Correct.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So I developed the system myself to make it easier because over here I am a one-man army.
One-man army in such a huge place where you have grown fantastic plants.
And in Kornot na angasor kam korpak, it is
Eklo
only
mansam.
one person.
That means it is easy.
So konei maka sangot zalya, you need people to work on your property. Aw tenka sangta kide. Please come and see how I have done it. And if you tell me it is impossible, I will show you how to make it possible. The only thing is, you must say to yourself, "Aw kottolote."
Your commitment.
A commitment has to be there. So you have to be committed. You have to say to yourself, "I am strong." Tuka modong zay na maka bernan ha maje pae dukta maje yen dukta.
Excuses don't.
The world is full of excuses.
Let
us stop that.
And Goans now of late have become more susegad, if you ask me.
Correct. So kide ha, I have my fertilizer. I have my compost. Now I spoke about fertilizer. There is something called liquid fertilizer also.
Okay.
So what is that liquid fertilizer? You notice there are 3 taps down.
Yes.
3 tap han so-called. What do these taps do? These taps are used to extract a liquid fertilizer, I call it, or leachate.
Leachate, yes.
They also call it compost tea. And I will give you an example. So if I open this, now this is going directly into this little jug over here.
Oh, it's there.
Yeah. So this is liquid fertilizer, nice black gold.
No smell at all.
Nothing. Although the liquid is a little more aromatic. It's got a strong odor about it. The compost doesn't. Now this liquid can be put for the plants, but not directly.
You need to dilute it.
It needs to be diluted, and that is why this goes into my water line. So it goes into the water line, it gets diluted by 1:15 or 1:20.
It's very scientific what you are doing.
Yes.
Have you undergone any training specifically for this scientific methodology that you are sharing with us?
Thank you, Bob. The most important scientific learning is my interest.
Your interest.
That is what people lack, is the interest. They say, no, we have to go and study. But even if you go and study, if you don't have an interest, whatever you have studied has no value.
Greater the interest, greater the success, I would say.
Yes. So, Kide Asta, you must have a personal interest in whatever it is that you do.
So there is a personal touch in your beautiful place here.
Correct. Tata, now we have spoken about fertilizer for the plants, and I started doing this 7 years ago. But even before that, when this land was barren and there was a well, there was no pump. How do you draw water from a well? How many people know how to put a cow saw?
Yes.
Throw it in the well, fill the cow saw, pull it up, and I used to do that for a 500-liter tank.
Is it?
So I would draw something like 60 or 70 cow saws in half an hour.
My God.
I learnt. And मुझे मामी पोइताले मजा आती and she would say, you've got all blisters on your hands. I said, oh, there are blisters? I said, I was happy to see water going for my plants. So what is the end goal is to see that your plants are happy. I don't care about the effort. I'm not bothered about all these things. And can I, mami munta, have you put sunblock? Tu wata nastai. She says, tu kao zalai. I said, Mom, it's okay. I was watering the plants. So now I have an interest and more importantly, a passion.
And that takes me to a new thought process. Most villagers in our villages would do this type of work. Even I remember we used to have bath, course of bitar galtale, and tingat sa saidik natale. And at that time, we never heard about vitamin D deficiency.
Kedakami, yes.
Anta munta vitamin D tablets ailya. But science says vitamin D is a hormone, and unless you get it through the sunlight rays, you cannot get good hormonal vitamin D. So there is a secret. So you keep on doing this work in your field, you get God's gift in terms of vitamin D. That's why I can see you are physically fit.
Thank you, Baba.
To do this immense work, you need your physical stamina,
Yeah.
which I think God also has blessed you.
I am happy. I am happy because I know that by doing this work, I have become much more energetic.
Yes.
In fact, I must tell you a personal story. My mother had a number of problems in her knees. She was not able to walk for many years. I started to bring her to the garden. Within 3 years, she forgot she had a problem.
Is it?
Now she walks beautifully and she looks, I think, much younger than me even. So you see the garden, the environment that you create, the greenery, the plants, they help you to become a better person. But you have to allow yourself.
And that's the reason I think in those days we had all people from the villages as nice people.
Yes.
And they now say that the plants talk.
That is correct. That is
Yeah.
correct.
Can we proceed further? Because
Yes, Bob, let us go.
Yeah.
Some.
This is all your creation, what we are seeing.
So I remember this little area. I was given some plants and I had absolutely no clue where to plant those plants. So what I did was I demarked this small particular area and I called it an island.
Okay.
And I started to plant those extra plants over here. And in here we have ornamental banana. There used to be a love apple tree. There is mulberry. There are crotons. There's a whole huge array of plants just growing over here. Although it's been neglected for a short while, there needs to be some work done over here. But all of these plants, all of this entire area gets fertilizer, which I generate myself. And because of that fertilizer, this entire area is green. So compost, fertilizer, water, sunlight are extremely important to make greenery survive. In fact, I have dragon fruit plants over here, which fruited so well a couple of years ago. People told me that they were surprised that they even fruited. The person who gave me the cuttings himself, he was shocked and he says, Zalinti?
Is it?
Yes. So you see, it is not just planting something, it is looking after
Looking
the plant.
after, that's the most important.
Now this is, if I could just pause over here,
Yeah.
this is the only banana plant you will notice in this particular area. There is no other banana plant here and I did not want any other plants to be planted here. fruiting plants as such like this. And the reason for that is this particular banana plant is called Sakri King.
Sakri King.
Sakri King.
That means more sugar? Or
It's a sugar banana plant.
okay.
They used to be available in the good old days. There were plenty of them. Nowadays, you hardly see these plants. This was gifted to me by a gentleman in Talegaon. When I saw that he had a huge amount of Sakrike bananas, I asked him if I could have it. He said, Bab, war to zaititli. So I planted this over here almost 2 years ago. And so far, the tree has been living well. And I hope it continues because I would love to see the bananas from it.
Kedi more or less kedna zatli.
Now, there are around almost 8 varieties of banana trees on this property. Each of them behaves differently.
Okay.
Each of them. So now I have realized whether it is Moira, Saldati, Raspalli, hybrid, all of them fruit at different intervals. Some of them grow very fast. Then there's something called the Gaunty cane also.
Oi. And nowadays, more people say Gaunty zai, Gaunty.
Gaunty. So the reason that they want the Gaunty ones is because those are not given the artificial ripening treatment. If you eat a banana these days, it will most probably be a Velchi banana.
Velchi, yes.
So when you eat that Velchi banana, you look for a nice clean one, which is yellow with no black spots, and it looks fantastic. You'll ensure that it's a little soft, you'll open it up and you'll eat it and you'll find some hard piece in there, a number of hard bits, and then you take those hard bits and you might throw them out. Now, why are they hard? Is because that banana is artificially ripened.
And it is happening nowadays in Goa.
It is normal.
Yes.
It is normal.
Yes.
If you do not artificially ripen the bananas, they cannot be sold because people don't want to buy them.
So, a tree like this,
Yes.
you grow it here, you see it growing, you cultivate it, and you get the fruit.
Yes.
Absolutely 100% healthy banana.
Correct. So this is all organic. I do not go the commercial route. I do not use any pesticides. One of the reasons is that I want this to be a zero cost, zero maintenance, and zero care garden.
That means if you have a number of banana plants, for a family say of 5 or 6, you can be self-sustaining.
We are self-sustainable over here. I will take you around where I will show you more banana plants,
Yeah.
different varieties.
Here there are.
So here along this line,
Yes.
there are different varieties of,
So they are all different.
these are all different varieties. So that one over there in that area I know is something called a Gaunty. Now what that Gaunty is, I have no clue, but that's called a Gaunty banana. This one is a Velchi, that is for
Okay,
sure. So this is a Velchi banana. This one growing over here,
It's already there.
yes, so this one is already fruiting. There are 2 of these, and I've always been confused about which one they are. One of them is a Saldati, I'm assuming is this one, and which means that this one is the Raspalli variety.
Okay.
The reason I had them put like this is so that I could tell, and I always thought to myself that I would write the names of these banana plants, but it never so happened. So this one is fruiting very nicely, and you will see the bunch.
Yes, it's already there.
It's got a nice bunch. So most of the banana trees here, when they fruit, they give a nice thick bunch because of, the most important thing is they get plenty of sunlight, lots of water, and the best part, homemade fertilizer.
That makes a world of difference.
World of difference. In a very remote place over there, it's growing very nicely. It may give a decent size fruit, and that is a pineapple.
Oh, just a small one we can see already.
Yes, so it is growing. Next to it, there is another one, but it has not yet started.
But
giving
this
fruit.
looks very beautiful. The color is so rich.
Yes, now this will probably start getting bigger by the time it is the month of May.
Okay.
Pineapples need no care at all. So even if you do not give it fertilizer, it will still grow. This is the beauty of fruiting trees, is that sometimes we don't have to care for them as much. We don't have to care about, we don't have to look after them. Once they are mature meaning, once they have crossed 3 years, they will look after themselves. You don't have to water them even. They will find even the slightest of moisture in the soil and absorb that. And they will live. And that is why when you see fruit trees outside on the road, we are not watering them,
No.
but they are still living very well. So fruiting trees, coconut trees,
Yeah.
whatever they are, as long as they have got maturity in them, which is anywhere from 3 years and above, they will survive on their own. What I have done here is I have also kept my fruiting trees, and I've made this little pathway of ornamental plants.
Yes. You have these crotons.
So I've got these crotons, they are very hardy, and in any kind of weather, in any kind of condition, they will always add color. Now, why the color? We as human beings are attracted to color. Fruiting trees are quite boring to look at.
They are.
So what I have tried to do is, because I am an IT person and I'm a very boring person to start off with, I needed something to attract me to the environment. And what better way than to use colorful plants?
It is. You have also a small plant here. This is a mango? Or?
So correct, you have spotted that well, Bob. So this here is a mankurad.
Oh my God.
So this is a mankurad plant.
Yeah.
It is still in the poly bag. It needs to be transferred.
Yeah.
And what I have done, as much as possible, many of my fruiting trees have still remained in poly bags.
Yet you can see the fruit.
So this is a torange, which is a
Okay,
grapefruit.
that's what we have been talking about.
Right. So
Yeah.
torange, pomelo.
Pomelo.
So this is still in the poly bag.
Yeah.
And if I lift that poly bag, it would probably still not have roots below.
Is it?
And it is growing very nicely. Now, one thing to remember about fruiting trees is that the moment the fruits start, stop watering from the top.
Is it?
Because if you water from the top, let's say the plant has started fruiting and the fruits, the seeds, the flowers are very small. The moment you water, those flowers will fall.
Okay.
That is why you will hear people saying that during the plants or the fruiting season, if it starts raining, they'll say, we power silo, soglempi dazatele.
So there is a relevance.
There is a relevance. The relevance is that when it rains, the rain droplets throw down the flowers.
Cause this damage.
Yes.
And what is this that you have here?
So here, this is something called a walking iris.
Walking iris.
It's called a
The
walking-
first time I'm coming to know about this.
So this walking iris, it gives a nice little colorful plant like an
Yes.
orchid.
Yes.
And it's a very beautiful, and it loves plenty of sunlight. So this is a walking iris. It's in the ground. I've also started putting them into planters.
Okay.
Because the moment it's on the ground, it does exactly what its name says. It starts walking.
Okay. Okay.
So there are many other ornamental plants which I have put around.
Yeah.
And many of them are now...
Oh, you have this chilies.
Those are called Portugal chilies.
Portugal chilies. Futke pari, I don't know.
Yes,
So
yes,
I
yes.
Used to call.
These are very easy to grow. Birds love them.
Is it?
Birds love these chilies. So you will find these kind of chilies growing about everywhere. And that is because birds pick them up
And
disperse them elsewhere. So these are called Portugal chilies. Actually, I had not even planted this.
okay.
This is growing in a planter, which is actually of something totally different. It is of gladioli.
Okay.
But in that, there is chilies growing.
Okay.
That is because of the birds.
Yeah.
Okay. So next to it, I have a rambutan tree. So this is
This one.
So this is a rambutan tree. It's again in a planter. Here we have mangosteen.
Okay.
So I am putting a lot of these trees in planters so that I can show people.
These are all in planters,
These
which
are-
easily can be done by anybody.
Anyone who has restricted space
Yeah.
could try and grow their fruiting trees in planters.
Is it?
It is very much possible.
And we missed the 3 papayas that I can see.
You see, everyone, and including myself, I used to say that it is very, very difficult to grow papaya. It is correct. I have been given so many saplings of papayas and I've planted them all over.
Okay, okay.
None of them have survived.
No,
Many of the papayas that grow have no seeds inside.
is it?
So I cannot understand how papaya is to grow. And I have been told that there is male, there is female.
Female,
There are
yes.
many of these things. And the only reason that I learned about all of this is because the papayas were not fruiting. So you'll notice there are 3 here. There is
And
another
there's one beautiful one over there.
There's one tree there which gave a lot of papayas.
Is it?
So I learned one thing. If you find that you have a papaya tree growing and you extract the seeds from the fruit, toss the seeds around.
Okay.
Just toss them. Don't even think twice. Within a few months, out of the 100 seeds, at least 1 or 2 trees will grow. And that's exactly what's happening here.
Oh, you didn't plant
I have
per
not
se.
planted.
You didn't plant, but then it's a God's gift.
So they are growing very beautifully, and the best part is they are fruiting.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
We have, you will notice on this tree, we have some oblong-shaped chikus.
Chikus.
So we have 3 chiku trees.
This is a
also.
very common tree almost everywhere in the villages.
Yes. So chiku, cashew, and are quite common. This has grown on its own.
There's
in
some
the
fruit
sense-
there.
So this is called noni fruit.
Noni.
Noni.
Okay.
So I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
People nowadays look at many of these different fruits which are considered to be exotic
Yes.
and claim them to be curing cancer.
Cancer.
Please don't believe it. I don't. I don't know if there is any scientific theory to support that. Anyone who is suffering from any kind of disease, I suggest to them one thing. Stay away from processed food as much as you can. What is processed food? Anything which comes in a plastic bag. Try and eat some vegetables. Try and eat some fruits. We are not doing any of that.
Yes.
So if we are not going to eat brinjal, if we are not going to eat carrots, if we are not going to eat any of these things, which we used to eat in the old days, because we were growing them.
There is one fruit which is much sought after in Goa because of the so-called anti-cancer properties. And the other day I found that it was costing about 800 to 1,000 rupees, depending
such a small
on,
fruit.
Yes. Sarsop.
Sarsop.
Yeah.
So I have 3 trees,
Okay.
and they're growing in the containers. Again, sarsop has been called a cancer fruit.
Yes.
So has this.
Yes.
Now, if, for example, a person is healed from cancer after eating a chiku, the chiku will be called a cancer fruit.
That's right. That's right.
So the thing is, it's not about fruits. It's not about a particular fruit. Eat fruits because all of them, all fruits, all vegetables, drumstick, whatever it may be, contains nutrients, contains some kind of element which will help us to fight disease.
You are absolutely right on this.
Processed food, chocolates and all these fast foods, they have nothing. They only make you feel good.
Yes.
They may taste nice, but none of
from
them
the health point of view, nothing compares with your natural
natural. As long as it is natural.
vegetables, natural fruit, and
Yes.
there you are the most healthy person.
Correct. See, over here, now you will notice we are approaching almost 1 o'clock.
Yes.
So it is way past midday. It's such a cool place.
It is very, very cool. Very, very cool.
The shade is provided by these trees. And these trees, these trees are looking after not just you and me at the moment, but after all these plants below.
Below them.
You see, that is why I love trees no matter what they are. These trees provide shade. They also give me fruits. These 3 chiku trees always flower beautifully. They look after the trees, the plants that are there at the bottom. They are all in planters because these are all young ornamental plants. Once they have matured a little, I will then shift them into a better location where they will get more sunlight. At the moment here, they don't get as much.
Not as much.
Not as much. But there are, now one thing that I've also noticed is that any plant, these are new plants, any flowering plant, you will notice there are flowering plants, or any plant that has got color. So whether the leaves have color, whether the flowers have color, they require sunlight. So in order for the color to come onto the plants, sunlight is an essential element. So here you will see plenty of these, mostly green. Even if it is just a simple color like green, it is so refreshing for the eyes.
It is.
And when I have visitors, they are just absorbed. They are mesmerized because they don't know where to look. And any individual that looks at plants and has forgotten you loves nature.
Absolutely right. Absolutely.
So I've got rubber plants, a number of them growing.
Okay.
The rubber plants are called air purifying plants. How that works, I have no idea, but I'm giving into what its claims are. So I have a number of rubber plants. I've got many other varieties of air purifying plants. They're called Sequeira. So there's a number of them over there, plenty of heliconias. There are different plants. I do not refuse. We'll take a little step over here so I can show you some of these plants. Now if you step here,
much more cooler.
Look at the difference.
Much more cooler.
You will not say this is way past midday.
No.
In fact, I had done some seating over here, but because I have recently acquired all these new plants, the new plants will always take first place.
Okay.
So it's only once the plants have grown bigger, once they have matured, like say for example this one. You know, it's a very simple plant and it was given to me because it was not performing well.
Okay.
But now a new leaf is coming.
Yeah, new one.
And at the side there's something else growing.
Yes, it is.
So Kidehano, we must not refuse. You take the plant, you nurture it a little bit, you observe, you might need to do some work on it.
But very little work.
Very little work, exactly. So the rubber plants, whether it is Sequeira, whatever type of plant it will always be beneficial to us, to humans, and more importantly, the environment.
It is. It is two-way help that the plants give us.
So even when I've got orchids,
Yes, I
I
can
recently started doing that. I sometimes find orchids which have fallen from rain trees. Rain trees have the orchids right on the very top. It's a very sad sight. So I rescue those. Whether they flower or not, I have no clue. But I rescue whatever plant has now succumbed. It's outside, it is discarded. I rescue those plants. And this is my plant refugee place. So all these are refugee plants.
Nice to know that. Nice to know that.
So these are not plants that are purchased from a nursery.
No, you don't buy.
I do not buy ornamental plants at all. I rescue them. I pick them up from somewhere or the other. And you will always find people who are pruning their plants.
Yes.
Will take all their debris and throw it outside. I sometimes look through that debris and I find gold. I bring those plants over here. I nurture them and I allow them to grow.
What a thought process. I must compliment you for this thought of yours.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. So all the plants, as I said, that you can see over here have been acquired in that manner.
It simply means that all these things can be done with very, very little effort or even no effort.
Yes.
But what is your mind is what matters the most?
The interest is the most important thing. We cannot keep on saying to ourselves, we are not finding laborers, we are not having this help, we are not having access to so and so resources. Try to do it by yourself. Now, this place that you're in, this haven, this sanctuary, this biodiversity paradise that you're in, there is nothing from an external source. Everything that you see over here is taken care of by the land itself. Fine, I understand that the wet waste is converted over here, being brought from somewhere else. But if I could, sometimes when I have food waste over here, I collect that.
Okay, that's nice. That's
So
nice.
when we have gatherings or we have
There's
workshops,
lots of food wastage.
there is plenty. So all that then gets accumulated and put into the compost bin.
Yeah, even if you have an excess, maybe you could even sell it as gold.
That is correct. That is correct. Now you see, this is what I'm planning to do for my heap composting pile. Recently, I got my son to prepare a small enclosure. So the debris that you see, all the garden waste, is now going to be collected and be converted into compost. All the garden waste. So all till such time I can do that, I'm collecting it into one area. It doesn't look very helpful, I mean very nice, it doesn't look healthy. But now I will collect it all into one area, which means at the end of summer, I should be able to get nice, rich, earthy compost.
I think this whole idea that you have, it's through the schools, they have got work experience. If it is converted into a practical session like what you say,
Yes.
I think it will help the entire village, the entire society and the community. At the same time, it can be money generating also.
It is a very useful, you are right on the mark. It is a very useful element to generate additional income.
Yes.
Many people, whether it is students, teachers, industrialists, they are interested. Businessmen, they are interested in this. Sometimes they don't have the time. But there is an interest from humans. It is only the amount of effort that it takes.
But this is very simple effort
simple.
that you have shared with me. And I think so if this is taught in the schools for the children, and they go back and they say, we can do it with whatever we have at home. And some of them get together and make it a small community project.
Very nicely said. Now, I always promote this and I tell people, if I, as a non-green person, have achieved this with no knowledge whatsoever.
It's amazing, let me tell you, it's amazing what you have done and what you have shown practically. Because most of the people, they talk, and they say, you do it. No, you have done, you have shown, and you says, I'm ready here.
So if I can do it, anyone can.
It can be done, it can be done. I must salute you.
Thank you, Baba.
Because this practical aspect, I haven't seen in many a place. I haven't seen. I'm glad that I have made it a point to be here with you this morning. And it was very, very
It's a pleasure.
educative for me.
Pleasure.
Especially this part of your composting. Fantastic. We tried toying with this idea in Panjim city,
Yes.
and I failed. I'll tell you, I failed. And people said, people will rob, will take away this, all these problems. But I see that there is a ray of hope, a big ray of hope. If I can share your thought process and the way that you have gone ahead, I'm sure people would want to have an interaction with you, and maybe not all, maybe at least out of say 10, at least 2 or 3 they can pick it up. I think will you be able to help us?
I will be more than happy. I will be more than happy. My methods are simple.
Very simple.
My methods are economical. My methods don't use any kind of effort. Because of the simplicity, anyone can do it.
It is easy. It is easy, and
So
it is
I'll be
possible.
very happy to help.
Yes, and if we can pass on this message to the schools, because all of them have gardens.
Yes.
Most of the schools in the village, they have big gardens, but I am sure they lack proper guidance. that I feel at this moment that you are the right person.
Thank you, Bob. I will be happy to help.
Yes, that's what we need. That's what we need.
Even when you say schools and institutions, they always say we lack a gardener.
You don't need. You don't
don't need a
need.
guy.
You don't need.
Thank you. Thank you.
So these are your fruit-bearing trees that you have,
So the
along
fruit-
with some ornamental
So
trees
here is
also.
a mixture of fruit bearing.
Yeah.
So there's fruit bearing, there's ornamental, there's actually now recently I started sugarcane and that has done very beautifully.
Sugarcane.
Sugarcane.
Okay.
So I had black sugarcane and it has grown very nicely. So in this area, the black sugarcane has done well. It was only a test, it was a pilot.
Yes.
It did well. I got around 12 liters of sugarcane
Can
juice.
you show
Yes,
us
I can show you.
exactly?
So over here,
Oh, this one.
so this is a sugarcane. This is what remains of it now.
Okay. Okay.
But it had grown around almost, I don't know, 10 to 11 feet. And I harvested close to 12 liters
12 liters
of
of
black sugarcane juice from
and
this.
it's a natural juice.
It's a natural
much
juice.
better than when it is converted into sugar, because you have to go through a chemical
process.
You have to add sulfur and all that. But I think this will be very pure, natural, and healthy.
And you see now, by planting different fruiting trees, by planting different crops, I have also learned about how the product survives. For example, I have never found sugarcane juice in a packet. You find Nero, you find coconut juice, you find orange juice. Have you found sugarcane juice in a packet? So
no.
I was wondering why not. In fact, now after harvesting the juice from the sugarcane stick, that juice starts fermenting immediately.
Okay.
So you have to drink it on the spot.
On the spot. On the spot.
You cannot refrigerate it even. I tried. I put it even in the freezer. The taste is not the
Unlike
same.
Nero.
Unlike Nero. Unlike Nero. So, but I love sugarcane, so that is why I've got 3 locations now where I've planted sugarcane. And if they are successful, I know the kind of soil that it needs. Because if you notice, this is all hard soil.
Yes.
This is all rock. Wherever there is a plantation, it's always softer soil. But whereas what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to beat some of those odds by growing trees in conditions which are very harsh. And those trees are surviving. I'm happy now. I don't know if you can see this papaya tree.
Yes. Yes.
This papaya tree gave me almost 12 huge 2.7 kg papayas.
Is it?
2.7 kg. I'll still have that those figures somewhere. I've taken pictures of the weight of the huge papayas. I have not planted that tree.
Like you
Again.
said, no? Yeah.
Take the seeds.
Yes.
Because
Disperse
you
them.
see, in one papaya, you get hundreds of seeds. You take those seeds and you dry them. You toss them. Out of those 100, even if 2 grow and fruit, you have done it.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So the thing about this garden, a little bit of effort, lots of interest, plenty of energy, and then come the resources: sunlight, water, soil, fertilizer for the soil. So what I have done is effectively I have become an ambassador for greenery. I've become an ambassador for the environment. And I consider myself, after all this, to be an ambassador for life.
That's outstanding contribution from your part. I'm sure when people watch our CCR TV program, they will be curious and say, why can't we do? Why haven't we done? But you needed a mentor, and we found a good mentor in
Thank you,
Allwyn.
Thank you,
Yes,
Bob.
it is. It is. Lots can be done because you are a pragmatic man. You are not a theory-based. That's what I appreciate much from your side. And you have demonstrated. One thing is theory, yes, no, you have demonstrated and we have seen and we know the wonders that you have created in a place which was barren and
Once upon a
water.
time.
What is more appreciable, you haven't spent much money on purchasing
Not
the
at all.
plants.
Not at all.
I mean, that is a wonderful thing that we have done. And I think all of us show that interest. At least 50% of the golden interest that you have. I think we can at least catch hold of bronze or a silver, which ultimately could lead eventually, if all of us, we join our hands together. And this is God's creation.
Yes.
And food. And mostly now everybody is trying to be more veg than non-veg.
Yes.
It's much more healthier. That much I can definitely say. It's a healthier, more nutrients. That's what people don't understand that. And there are a lot of medicinal plants.
Yes.
Your Ayurveda is a simple principle,
Yes.
and all of them are found in Goa.
Correct.
Most of
Correct.
us do not know. So if we can combine all this thought process and make it still more flowery than what you have made, I think you will have done a revolution in greenery. That's what is needed. I salute you.
Thank you.
And we hope that, do you have any special message for our viewers?
The most important message that I can give you all is to never say to yourself that it's not possible. Don't believe everything you hear. Think for yourself. Try and get the energy that you have within you. We all have that energy. It's just that we don't want to use it. We are lazy sometimes. I've also been lazy. But once I found my calling, which was in greenery, the energy appeared. Now that energy is there within me. I've got the enthusiasm. I want to do something with plants every day. I want to ensure that whatever I do with greenery is there for a lifetime. It should not stop. If we can do things which will sustain life, which will sustain greenery, we too will start becoming much more healthier, will become less dependent on healthcare, on many of the foreign objects. So please try your level best to find your energies. Using that energy, make what I've done. Since we mentioned about plants, we are standing right next to a Christmas tree
Okay, yes.
in a planter.
In a planter. Okay, yeah.
You see, now Christmas trees grow very tall.
They grow.
They grow huge. And then eventually, people start looking at them like a nuisance. So why not keep it contained? It's easier even to put. Now, if you notice, this is the first, 2023 is the first year we had a Christmas tree. I mean, I've had this for about 4 years.
Okay.
But we've had this Christmas tree. And what we did was, for the first time, we decorated it. But if you
Okay.
notice the decorations, it's
Yes.
all the olden kind.
Okay.
We have not used. So these are actually organic decorations.
Okay.
They are just paper ones.
Okay.
So we have not used anything which is shiny, anything which is plastic, other than the star.
That's a good message. Excellent message, I must say. I had a very big problem with my tree at home.
Yes.
And we had to chop it from the top.
Yes.
And I couldn't find somebody who would do the job.
So if you keep your
This
trees,
is an excellent solution.
Yes.
Excellent.
So planters, you can take a slightly bigger planter than this.
Yes.
But I've started with this to see how big a tree can grow in a 20-liter barrel. And it's quite fairly big.
It is. Excellent. I think we have started our journey. They say that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with the
single
first step. This is our first step. We will grow, but we will depend on you. You have to be our great catalyst in taking this forward. God
always
bless
be.
you.
I
God
will
bless
always
you. Plants are fundamental to human nutrition. Look at vegetables, fruits, seeds, spices, oils. They say the coconut oil today is one of the best oils. Beverages and all other food products. Plants are a rich source of medicine. Ayurveda talks about only plants, all plants. And they have documented some of the plants. Now we have different types of crops. There are people who raise their crops to sell in the market. I am talking, and you are also talking about the same, is subsistence crops. That means you plant for the purpose of self-supply of the farmer, like livestock feeding or food for their family. This is what we had been doing in the past.
Yes.
When we talk of Goans and Goenkhar pond, this was there. For example, we never bought onions from the market when I was in Kolba. We had tomatoes, we had green chilies, we had a drumstick, one of the best protein giving tree that we have. The leaves, they say, are much more nutritious, even the flowers also. Brinjals, and toranja we had guavas.
Govas.
In those days, pear, kona jaire. But today, guavas have been given a lot of preference
Yes.
in terms of fiber, and especially for diabetes people, they say that it is very important. So, we need all this, and I'm sure let's go further. Let's apply our minds. We'll start small.
Baby steps. Correct.
Baby steps. Let's see what we can do, but we need your guidance. And I'm sure that we'll be ultimately work towards improving the health of all the people. Thank you very much, Allwyn, for being with CCR TV
Thank you.
at your place. And I never felt warm. Let me tell you, though the sun is right up directly with the, and I'm also getting my vitamin
Yes.
D in any case. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
God bless you once again.
Thank you.